Hey everybody, because it's almost turkey season, I wanted to put a video out highlighting key tips and points that I use for pretty much every hunt regarding decoys or no decoys. Right off the hop, I will redo this video out in the field and actually display the setups and movements that I use, but I'm just short on time right now. And I wanted to get this information out there just in case it might help you during opening day, because I won't be able to get an actual in-depth video out before that time. There will be one coming, but I'm just going to give you the meat and potatoes today. So first things first, there's a certain quality of decoys that you can buy. So these are Flex Tones. That's the brand. They're just from Canadian Tire. They're up there in price, but as you can see, really good quality. In my point of view, because turkey's vision is just astounding, I don't underestimate it. So I go for a higher quality, and so those turkeys will be fooled for longer. If you have a lower quality decoy, they'll clue in a lot faster than if you put a little extra money in and get something that looks more realistic. Pros and cons though is that, say you can get a foam decoy and they don't look that great, but they're super lightweight and they can fold down into like a little square like that and go in your pocket. These do not break down at all. They are pretty hard. They're lightweight, but they just take up a lot of space. So, pick your battles. Another thing is actual setup. Right off the hop, I would never go out with just a hen per se. 99% of scenarios, I would not use just hens. So I have this one, that's a feeder hen. And then this one is more upright. That's described as a lookout hen. And then I have a tom decoy right there. So it's a tom decoy because, well, he's got a nice beard, but I put a tom fan on him. They come with fans like this. If you don't have one kicking around, it'll come with something like that. But obviously, you're allowed to switch it out with a fan that you already have, and that's way more realistic. Other key points I would say would be the distance and direction your decoys are facing. So because these are a prey species, much like I would say everyone has seen the behavior of fish. So when there's a predator around, they will huddle together closer and all face the same direction, whether that be running away from danger or staring at the danger. Turkeys are a lot very similar. So I always have them spaced out maybe 8 to 10 yards away from each other in kind of like a triangle formation. You know what I mean? Make it look good. And facing in different directions, especially the hens. If anyone's going to bust you during a hunting season, it's going to be the female breed of the species. The males are, don't get me wrong, they're all like preoccupied with breeding, but more so the males. The females are still a lot more alert than the males. That applies to deer too, in my experience. So, long story short, keep them 8 to 10 yards away from each other and facing in all different directions. Because if you have them huddled together and facing the same direction, if another turkey comes out of the bush and sees that, he's gonna look in the same direction they're looking, thinking that there's danger, and there's a high probability he won't come in based just off of that right there. And you're gonna blow your hunt, you're gonna wonder what happened. Another one is I wouldn't use just hens, as I maybe mentioned before. So in nature for turkeys, the males are usually on display or strutting to show off their size and how pretty they are and stuff like that. And it's usually up to the hens or females to close that final 30 to 40 yard gap if there's no other males around. So that being said, that's why I always use 2 hens and another male. You can either use Jake or Tom. We'll get into that in a second. There's some variables there. So if another male turkey comes out of the bush, whether it be a tom or a couple jakes, they see that it's a 2-to-1 ratio and, oh, there's a spare hen. Maybe I have a chance at it. Or they'll challenge your male decoy and try and win both hens. So in regards to your male decoy, either a jake or tom, like I said, this is a tom decoy. For positioning, I would set this between the hens and where you anticipate the other male turkey to come out of the bush that you're after, whether it be a jake or a tom. So I would have this guy facing one of the hens and kind of watching out towards where you anticipate the other male to come out. And then as for appearance and movement, so I have some fishing line that I usually tie to this. And let's say the other turkey comes out and this turkey right here is kind of facing one of the hens, but you notice the other turkey checking out your decoys. Have this one turn away and face away from that tom or jake. So that's usually a sign of submission, that this turkey will not want to challenge. And it'll make the other turkey that you want to come in kind of think he has a better chance at challenging this turkey for those hens. Another thing would be the appearance. So a perfect tom fan, this is not it. So there's a reason for that. A nice perfect tom fan, like the one that this comes with, will kind of show that he's maybe a good fighter. Whereas this one is like, there's a couple broken feathers, he's pretty roughed up. It shows he's been in some fights, but maybe he hasn't fared so well. So another one, if you turn him away and the other turkey sees that this guy's in kind of rough shape, he's still kicking, but he's in rough shape, it'll, again, make that other tom or jake like his chances better of coming over and possibly winning those hens. A couple final key points would be general wind direction. Anything for me, 20 kilometers an hour and over, I start really considering wind direction. So like which way it's coming from relative to the bush where I'm sitting. I'll change my plan according to that. Strong winds, because these like turkeys like to be on display and puff up and drum and strut and all that good stuff. Winds over 20 kilometers an hour will make their feathers not look so nice and maybe throw them off balance, and they don't like it. So you have to look for wind blocks at that point. Anything under 20 clicks an hour is negligible. That's fine. Another one would be rain. So no rain, whatever. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're gonna come out on a nice morning, look for the sun, especially if it's cool, warm up, come into grasses like winter wheat. If you have winter wheat in your field, that's great. They're gonna do their own thing. Heavy rain, I don't really like. They'll stay in the roost and they'll huddle there for, I don't know, until the rain stops. My perfect scenario, if it was gonna rain, is a pretty steady to light rain. So why is that? Turkeys are a prey species, so they want to fly on the ground, but they rely heavily on sight and sound. If you think about a moderate rain, one, it's making a lot of noise in the bush, and two, those raindrops are making everything move. So that means they can't hear as well, and they can't see a predator sneak, like a coyote or something, sneak up on them as well. So naturally, if there's a moderate rain and they're hungry enough or cold enough, they'll start moving and they'll go straight to a field, in my experience. Another one I would say for now without decoys, like a spot and stalk scenario. So I came across this last year. I had car issues on the way to my spot. I was like an hour and a half late, still wanted to go out, whatever. And by the time I got to my spot, there was a ton of turkeys already in the field. So I didn't give up, but I wanted to try something. So in that scenario, I decided to obviously do kind of a spot and stalk. So I saw the turkeys from afar, cut through another bush, got as close to the field edge as I can without them seeing me. And I mean, this took a lot longer than I'd like to admit, but you don't want to scare them because they're, again, a turkey's vision, their eyesight is insane. Oftentimes I would compare it to like if you're wearing a pair of binoculars and are also extra sensitive to movement. Like I don't underestimate their vision. Long story short, I didn't have my decoys out. I just kind of snuck in to a tree, sat down, and had my call. So I knew decoys wouldn't work in that scenario. You're never going to get toms or jakes off of live hens. The only thing you can do is identify the dominant hen. Every flock, if they're in a group or area, will have a dominant hen. And what you want to do at that point is pique her curiosity and even upset her a little bit. So watch them for a little bit, do a couple calls. You'll find out pretty quick which hen is dominant, because she'll be the first one usually to respond to you. Once you identify the dominant hen, or I say alpha hen, whatever, you want to copy her calls exactly. And even towards the end, start cutting her off with whatever call you got. So she'll get very territorial, especially if you don't have a decoy visible. It'll really pique her curiosity on who's this other hen that's coming into my territory. And as she moves, the rest of the turkeys will follow. So I had a flock of about, I'm gonna say 15 turkeys. There was maybe 3 gobblers in there, or males, and the rest were female. And that, because that one dominant hen was curious as to who or what I was, she closed a gap of about 70 yards, and the rest of the group followed. After that, they kind of lost interest, but it was definitely effective. They definitely started coming over. Well, that's it for today. Sorry it wasn't like an exhilarating video, but I will, like I said at the start of this video, I will redo it in a more interactive way. I wanted to get these tips out there before the season started, because maybe it helps whoever's watching. I'm sure I missed some stuff too. I'll go over it again, and then if I did miss anything, I will add that to the next video once I revamp this whole concept. I would almost swear you could write a small novel on the science of turkey decoys, which sounds crazy because their brain is the size of, I don't even know if it's the size of a peanut, but they can get pretty intricate in their behavior, especially around breeding season. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Good luck to everyone for opening week and turkey season in general. And yeah, stay tuned until next time. Thanks.